So here we are, we're up in the attic, looking at the insulation that's distributed around the attic. It originally looks like when this house was constructed, seeing the base layer of insulation, looks like there was probably 6 inches put down. We can see R19 on this piece of paper here. And it looks like there's been some additional insulation, another maybe 6 inches or so added on top of this. Now, a couple of things I want to focus on up here. One, as we look around at the insulation, a lot of it has been moved over time, and it could probably use some redistributing just to get everything kind of evened out and leveled off. You know, here's a spot right here we're looking at. We can see that the insulation has been moved, and I can actually see right down to the ceiling space. So that's something definitely, you know, we want to get corrected. Another thing I just want to point out here, which this home may be a good candidate for, in Shrewsbury Municipal Light Department has an incentive for insulation and air sealing, and there are definitely some air sealing opportunities up here, and where an insulation contractor could come in, straighten the insulation out, at the same time do the air sealing. If we look down here, we've got a hole in the floor where air can transition through. We've got wiring coming up. So again, like I had mentioned downstairs when we were discussing the door that leads to the garage, this is also another area where warm air is leaving our home and coming up into the attic space. So we want to prevent that warm air from coming up into this space. The other thing, we're standing right now filming this, it's a pull-down stairwell. Many people have pull-down stairwells in their home. There was no cover over this stairwell, so adding a cover over the stairwell is really a critical part, because this also becomes an access way for warm air to transition through. Just as a for instance, now this is a bigger space, this space up here, but an example that I know very well off the top of my head, if we had a 200 square foot room and we had a 5-foot opening, so we have 195 square feet of insulated area, 5 square feet with no insulation on it. By not having that 5 square feet in that smaller area, 200 square feet again, it reduces the overall effectiveness of the insulation by almost 50%. As we're looking around this attic space up here, we can see a lot of insulation moved and lifted. And although if we kind of glanced at this and we came up and looked at it, we'd say, oh, there's probably a good solid, 9 to 10, 11, 12 inches up here. But as I look at it, I will look at the overall effectiveness of this insulation, given the way that it's been moved around over the years, as being far less than what the R value would add up to. So that's why it would be important to get this relayed and fit back in. Also, I'm kind of looking at the area where one of the bathroom fans comes up through into the attic space, and looking around that vent fan coming up would also be another critical area for air sealing. And then we've got also up in this space, we have an air handler for the air conditioning unit. So we've got grates that go into the second floor ceiling that we would want to look at and make sure that those are all sealed up. And then from the standpoint, one of the things I always look at when I come up into an attic space is sort of the interior sheathing of the attic, and I don't see any issues with condensation that's really gone on up here over the years. Maybe a little bit on the nail heads, but nothing of any great significance. It looks to be fairly well ventilated as well. The biggest thing up here I can see is air sealing opportunities, getting the insulation straightened out so you don't have it, in some spots where it's lifted or missing, and then adding a cover over the top of the pull-down stairwell.